If you're a new vinyl collector and you want to add quality, awesome music to your collection, check out some of these artists. This video is going to be a quick rundown of some of the brand new vinyl from new artists that I've gotten in 2025. And it feels like in 2025 there has been just a flood of amazing new vinyl from new artists that you should definitely be checking out. I made a video previously earlier this year talking about some of them, so I'll link that in the description below, and maybe I'll try to make like another recap video at the end of the year to try to get like all of them in, because there have been a lot of really great artists from all of my favorite labels: Big Crown Records, Coal Mine Records, Daptone Recording Company. So we're gonna get into the first one here because this just showed up at my door, and I love when these just show up at my door because I have no idea when these things are coming, and sometimes I don't even know what's inside of them because Coal Mine does such an awesome job of putting out new artists and new records so much of the time. So it's very cool to get these promo copies from them, to be able to see what's coming along, and if I don't actually look on their website, I sometimes don't even know what's coming. So in this one, I was pleasantly surprised. This is the Monophonics The Sound of Sinning. Now, this is not a new record. This is actually a 10-year anniversary record from when this came out in 2015. At the time, the Monophonics were actually on Transistor Records, so they weren't on Coal Mine. So this is kind of like a celebration of the 10-year anniversary of this record, and this record kind of really saw them breaking into a lot of new sounds at the time. Kelly Finnegan is the singer on this. He has since gone on to make a ton of his own records. He's got an awesome Christmas record out there from Coal Mine that if you're looking for a great Christmas record, you should go check that out. But basically, anything from the Monophonics, you should definitely check out. These guys are definitely still around, so they are still touring and things like that. Kelly Finnegan is still touring, so it is still a newer group and a newer artist. Now, this is the Coal Mine pre-sale issue, and I love that Coal Mine is doing these white label promos just like the old style with, the promo sticker and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. I really wish more labels would put out promo records, not just to send to people as a promotional record, because I'm going to go and buy this regular record anyway, especially I want the color versions of them, but it's just cool to have this, to know 50 years from now that this was one of the early pressings of this record. This music is awesome. Go support this artist, go support this label, go check out the Monophonics when you can. And this one is another one. This is one of my favorite groups out there, Say She, their newest record, Cut and Rewind. Now, this is the Coal Mine exclusive rhodonite color that they put out. That's a Coal Mine exclusive that was only limited to 500 copies. They do have an indie exclusive from Coal Mine that's purple that you can still get, that's available. These are great because when they come out, and also they're still out right now for $25. So all the vinyl that we're going to be talking about here is super affordable, which is another great reason why you should definitely consider getting all of it. I also bought the Black Agate edition off of their Bandcamp, but that has not shipped yet because it got delayed with some stickers or whatever. This one is their first record on Drink Some Water Records, which I guess they changed labels from Coal Mine to Drink Some Water. Seishishi is getting more and more into a very cool pop vibe. And I say that as much of a compliment as I can get because I'm not that big of a fan of straight up pop music. The vocals on it are fantastic. They're very hypnotic at times, and it's got a very fresh, new sound to it. This is a lot different than their previous two records. I was completely blown away by their first record. It was probably my favorite record that came out in that year. If you're interested in something more funk disco-y on more of the disco pop side, this is definitely going to be your jam. And like I said, there's all kinds of cool variants. You can get one on their Bandcamp, or you can go to Coal Mine Records and get those ones as well. Another of my favorite artists, and again, so excited to have a new record from Lady Wray. This is Lady Wray, Covergirl. This is the Purple and Blue Smoke color variant from Big Crown Records. What's cool about Big Crown is if you look at their hype stickers, they'll actually show you a C1 that's on them to kind of notate that this is the main color variant. So if you're only interested in getting the main color variant like I am, that would be this one. This is the main pressing, I guess. This is her third album on Big Crown Records, but she also has another record out that's just called Lady that came out on Truth and Soul Records. And what's really awesome is because these are all produced by Big Crown and Leon Michaels, they also put out the instrumental versions of these too. So you can get like her previous ones like Queen Alone and the instrumental versions of that. I have all that stuff. What's also sick is because this is on Big Crown Records, they're putting out cassettes with like everything that they do now. And I love these cassettes with like the old school red font. And they're also putting out color cassettes too, which is really cool. So it's just another thing for me to obsess about and want to collect all of, because these things are really neat. This record is awesome. And it's really cool because I feel like Lady Wray she should be a lot more popular than she is, man. Like, I feel like Say She and Lady Wray, like, this is the kind of stuff that should be the most popular stuff out there. If you're trying to find some new music to listen to, both of these artists are fantastic, and she is a fantastic soul singer, and the music that's behind her is all produced by Leon Michaels of El Michaels Affair, who also came out with a new record this year. I mean, like, these guys put out so much new material now. What's also cool about this one is it came with an 8x10 photo that was signed by Lady Wray herself. So also very cool. If you get on this stuff, like as soon as it comes out, you can get it. And again, $25 for a color variant limited to a few hundred copies that has an 8x10 photo signed by the artist. And it's also all analog music recorded to tape. I mean, like, this is everything that vinyl collectors want here. I mean, it's cheap, it's good, it's awesome. You should be going and getting this stuff. Now we are on to what might be my favorite record of 2025, and I really hope I pronounce this name correctly. This is Cochemea Gastelum, and this is Volume 3, Ancestros Futuros. This is the Daptone exclusive Crimson Splatter vinyl edition, and what's really awesome is this cover has like this red folio look, and it lists this right in Discogs and right in the notes, like pretty much everything with Daptone. This is recorded and mixed live to 8-track tape, and this is produced by Bosco Man Gabriel Roth, so this is a 100% Daptone edition, recorded at the Penrose Records Studios in California. So this is Cochemea Gastelum, who is the saxophonist and composer for Daptone Recording Company. He has played on so many awesome records. He's been on Manahan Street Band. I'm pretty sure he was in Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. He's played with the Michael Leonhard Orchestra. This is actually volume 3 of Cochemea's, like, you know, awesome trio of records that he has on Daptone Records. The first one being All My Relations, and the second one being Baka Sewa. And all three of these records are basically like him going back to his ancestral roots and getting in touch with, you know, the sounds of his ancestors. And I don't think that anybody could produce this stuff better than Gabriel Roth and Daptone Records, because of the authenticity that they go for with, you know, things like Latin orchestras or like Cuban sounds or Afrobeat sounds or even reggae stuff or even soul stuff. Like they really try to go, you know, with their soul music. They went back to, you know, a cappella people singing in churches. Gabriel Roth was touring, you know, the South with, you know, Cliff Driver, an old organ player, you know, playing in all these Baptist churches and stuff like that, and getting that experience and getting that sound to be able to try to recreate this music. And Cochemea's record here has done this in a completely different vein from Daptone, and it is awesome. And his saxophone sound has a very distinct, like, biting sound to it that I think is kind of reminiscent a little bit to like a Pharoah Sanders feel or things like that. The first track on this record has like an ostinato, like repeating pattern that gets faster and faster as it goes. And it is so cool. And the way that it is performed is just really awesome. And again, I can't speak enough to this record. You should definitely go check this out. Go check out all 3 of the volumes of Cochemea's basically life story at this point. This goes into like space jazz territory, but it's not like completely out there to the point where you have no idea what the hell is going on, or like it sounds like somebody's getting murdered in your bedroom or something like that. Like this thing's got a very cool vibe to it. I think it might be my favorite record of 2025, but then the next one came as well. I am a super fan of Antibalas, and this is kind of the group that really got me started on all of the Daptone stuff and like everything that's gone on with them. And I love that they have, you know, in their trajectory have branched off from Daptone on some records, but now have like come back to Daptone, and it seems like they're only releasing full-length records on Daptone records, which is just totally sick. This is Antibalas. Antibalas is your favorite band's favorite band. But seriously, they are one of the sickest Afrobeat orchestras that is out there today. They're a modern Afrobeat orchestra from Brooklyn, New York. And when I first heard them, I actually first heard them before I ever heard Fela Kuti. They got me into Fela Kuti. They went and did the Fela on Broadway stuff. They played as like the pit musicians for that stuff. And like I was saying before with Daptone Recording Company, these guys are just so authentic with their sound and with their approach to making authentic Afrobeat music and also putting their own new version of it out there. Like it's not just a facsimile of, you know, like Fela Kuti music, but this record kind of is like a back to the roots of Antibalas when they first started with like Liberation Afrobeat Volume 1 or like Talkative or whatever. This is all instrumental, and it just sounds like the rhythm section of this wanted to really just put out a sick record that is just instrumental Antibalas all the way through. And I could not be happier. Now, this one is a little peculiar in its color variant. And I say this because this is the limited edition Hourglass color vinyl from Daptone's website, and it is just a clear vinyl. But what's odd about this is that it has the white support your local record store indie variant labels on them. And I'm not sure if maybe just only the black ones have the blue Daptone label. I usually try to go for all of the original blue Daptone label records, either the 45s or the LPs. The 45s, they will release reissues with brown labels instead of the dark blue labels or the light blue labels. But I always try to get the blue if I can. And I'll admit, man, like I'm just a super fan of Daptone records. So like I'll buy like all of the color variants of like every one of these guys. But I don't care because I love these guys and I love Daptone records and I want them to prosper for as long as possible. So I want their records to be out there as much as they can. And last but not least, I kept this one for last because obviously this is not technically out yet, but this will be an official record that's out and pressed in December. This is The Shades of Sorrow, Volume 4 from Monster Mike. And if you're not familiar with that is, I've made a previous video talking about Volume 1, 2, and 3, and I'll link that below, as well as any links to, you know, where you can find those. But if you are into Chicano soul or soldies type stuff, you know, from like the deep South and Texas and San Antonio and things like that, this guy Monster Mike has like probably the most hardcore 45 collection of the hardest to find stuff out there. And it's funny because I'm someone who was brought up, my dad is a custom car guy. The whole like custom car scene is all revolves around like the 50s and 60s era, or at least it did when my dad was going to a lot of car shows. And the music that was playing through all that stuff throughout my childhood was all like 50s, you know, oldies stuff. But what is amazing is that I have never heard any of these tracks. Like, we're now on to Volume 4 of like 20 more songs. I'm pretty sure he might put out a CD. He put out a CD with Volume 1, 2, and 3. And there's more tracks on the CDs than there are on the LPs. So you definitely got to go check those out if you can. They put these out with really cool artwork from an artist named L. Ohms, and it sucks that this is like the test pressing, so you're not seeing that artwork, but I'm hoping that the next one also has an L. Ohms, artwork to it, just like the last 3 did. But I would also really like to get Monster Mike on this channel and just, talk with him and have him educate me more on all of this stuff. Because like I'm saying, I just think it's fascinating, just like with a lot of the soul music out there too, from like Numero Distribution Group, how much they find and how many things were out there that is really good soul and funk music, but it just wasn't popular. It was like Elvis and Buddy Holly and those artists that topped the charts. But like these artists who were making like local records in suburbs of San Antonio and stuff like that in the 1950s and 60s, these things are almost lost to time. So it is so amazing and so fascinating to get these awesome compilations made by Monster Mike, and look out for the color variant that will come out in December. I will be getting that color variant and possibly any other color variants that come with it. And what's really great is this is a testament to, the community that's getting built, at least on this channel, because Bowie Aguilar, who is a guy who watches a ton of these videos and constantly comments and really gives me a lot of support for this channel, he reached out to me to let me know that this test pressing was available. These test pressings, they only put out like 50 of them because they actually are the actual test pressings. I mean, granted, maybe he orders more than you're supposed to order for a test pressing, so maybe he's ripping people off with FOMO or whatever. But the fact is that I'm pretty sure that less than 1,000 of these records are going to be produced in total when they actually do get produced. Go check out Monster Mike and Oracion Records when this thing comes out in December. I'm very excited to have this test pressing, so thank you very much, Bowie Aguilar, for pointing this out to me. You are a godsend for that. So as I've mentioned numerous times in this video, so many of these artists are my favorite artists, and I can't believe that they've all come out with new records in 2025. We didn't even talk about El Michaels Affair in this video. They're one of my favorite bands. We didn't even talk about Budo's Band in this video, or Kendra Morris. We have talked about all of them in a previous video. Let me know if you want me to do a full wrap-up of like all the new artists that you should get that came out in 2025. I'll put that out in like December or maybe like close to the new year or whatever. I'm already extremely excited about some of these labels coming out with new records in 2026. So look out for new stuff from Big Crown Records. Look out for new stuff from Coal Mine Records. Look out for new stuff from the Daptone Recording Company. These are the records you should be buying. If you're a new record collector, I can 100% say that these are records that you should be buying. That is what we should be supporting as vinyl collectors, and that is what you should be supporting if you like awesome music. I mean, like, beyond just vinyl, these guys put out CDs, these guys put out cassettes, for God's sakes. They put out physical media, so you have to support this stuff. They're not famous musicians. They're not playing at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. They're not playing at Lincoln Financial Field. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are playing at, awesome small little venues. Please support these labels, support all these artists by buying their records. And if you want to support this channel, the best way that you can do that is by watching some of these other videos on the channel. Not even subscribing or any of that stuff. Just watch some of these other videos and keep watching them and share them with your friends. I'm gonna go listen to some new records. I'll see you on the next one.